Hey everyone, I'm Mind, and this is set number 71851, Kai's Dragon Mech Battle Pack from the LEGO Ninjago Dragons Rising Season 4 wave. This set contains 85 pieces, 3 minifigures, and will retail for $9.99 in the US when it officially releases on January 1st, 2026. This set was gifted to me early for review by the LEGO Group through the LEGO Ambassador Network, but all opinions expressed in this video are entirely my own. If you missed it, I've been doing early reviews of every single January 2026 Ninjago set, and there's going to be more coming soon, so make sure to let me know in the comments which set do you want to see an early review of next. And if you've been enjoying these videos and you want to see more, make sure to leave a like on the video and subscribe to the channel if you're new. Liking and subscribing does a ton to help support me in the channel, and it also helps YouTube to show you my videos more often. So thank you all very much for the support, and now let's get into the review. So with Kai's Dragon Mech Battle Pack, this is the third year in a row where the $10 set of the January wave is a little ninja mech like this. 2024 it was the J-Mech, 2025 it was the Zane Mech, and now we have this Kai Mech. And I'm really glad to see them continuing to do this because it's a nice way to get good minifigures for rather cheap, and the build has been pretty consistently good for a $10 set every single time. And yeah, this time around is no exception. I think of the builds, this is actually my favorite of the three. It does something quite unique, which I really like. And then the minifigure selection is probably the weakest of the three, but that's weakest with like a big asterisk, because it's still a good minifigure selection, it's just the other two had really good minifigure selections. But as always, we'll talk about minifigures more later in this video. For now, let's just take a look at the actual build. So what I really like about this one is it's more than just a mech. It's actually like a full dragon form for Kai. If you guys didn't know, one of the gimmicks of this wave is all the ninja turn into dragon form. It's minifigures like this, so this is of course not from this set. But yeah, you can see in other sets, the ninja get these minifigures where they have wings, they have a tail, and these exclusive hood pieces that turn them into dragon form. And this mech essentially is a large version of dragon form Kai. Like, yes, a regular minifigure fits inside it, but if you look at what the mech actually is, it does have big dragon wings right here, a dragon tail out the back, and like dragon-styled feet. So sure, you could see this as like an actual mech, it's just a robot Kai pilots, or you could see it as a proper transformation for him, it's his dragon form even bigger. And I think it just makes the theming a lot more fun too. Because of course with a mech this small scale, there's only so much you can do, there's only so many LEGO parts that exist, but I think they did an amazing job of capturing that dragon theming while still making it work at this size. Starting at the feet, they used this red part at the very front, which has become one of my favorite LEGO pieces in recent years, and it's just because of how versatile it is. It's used for like rocky texture and like a mountain. It could be used for fur on like an animal build. Or here it's used as like spiky toes to be like dragon feet, and that works perfectly. It looks exactly like that. This very triangular slope piece too creates like a cool dragon scale effect. And it's not like too complex, but there is studs changing direction here as well, using this sort of T-shaped piece that I believe was first introduced in LEGO Minecraft. Which for a set this small with this low of an age mark, that is a kind of cool technique to see. The feet of course connect to the legs on mini ball joints, so you can move them forward, move them back, as well as move them side to side a little bit. Then the legs themselves are literally only 5 parts each, but they do a good job to cover up the gray joint. I especially love the transparent orange here, which really like encapsulates that element of fire. Again, that's a mini ball joint connection, and there's a pretty big range of motion there. The waist is very simple from the front, though there is clips on the side to attach minifigure accessories, which I feel like actually does add to the detailing of the build as well to have these swords here. But of course you can take them off and give them to Kai when he's not in the mech. But then the coolest part is at the back here we actually have a dragon tail attached. This connects on a clip and can move up and down, and this is actually a brand new piece for this wave. It comes in pretty much every set, and it's used for like armor detailing or in green for like leaf detailing, but this is actually the only set it comes in this color, transparent orange. So that's a really neat exclusive part to have here, and I think it really shows off the versatility of this piece as well, because it works perfectly for a dragon tail. It's actually the same piece that the new Ryu set uses on the tip of its tail. Coming up to the torso, there is a 360 degrees waist swivel on the mech, so that gives you lots of options for posing, and then the actual torso of the mech uses the Marvel Mech clamshell design. And I've talked before about how I do not like this combination of parts, it just feels so uncreative to me generally. You compare this to like the elemental power mechs that Ninjago has, and you can see how different those torsos could be despite using a very similar system, as opposed to every mech that uses this just doing the exact same thing. However, once again, I do want to give the Ninjago team credit, because while this is a very boring base of pieces to work off of, just like with the Zane Mech last year, I think they made the most of it. Because sure, from the front, this is just the Marvel Mech design. You have the cockpit piece in dark red, which is a rarer color for that part. It's used for like Iron Man, and I don't think we've had it in a Ninjago set yet. This is also a new printed tile for this wave. It doesn't only come in this set, but it's got like that Source Dragon symbol on it. And of course, inside the clamshell, Kai can fit inside. But around the back, instead of just making it basic, they attached these giant dragon wings. And these are amazing. They make the torso section more interesting and just change the entire silhouette of the mech. It does feel like distinctly its own thing now, instead of just being another $10 Ninjago mech. This wing piece has been around for a little while. I think it actually might be used in Jurassic World for like the pterodactyls. I don't buy Jurassic World, so I'm not positive on that. But yeah, we don't see it in Ninjago often. I think the crystallized like 4+ set, the Neo Dragon might have used these, in a different color combination that is. But But yeah, it's like a draconic wing part that's being used for the first time in Ninjago, and it fits the scale of this mech perfectly. As you can see, they're articulated too, right? You can move them in, move them out, which gives you just more options for posing. And they fit really well behind the arms in the front, where they don't really like restrict motion at all, but they just enhance the overall look of everything. Speaking of the arms, again, just like the legs, it's only 5 parts, but the little teeth pieces to be spikes are quite cool. And then the hand is only a few parts as well, but interestingly, it doesn't have like a clip and a weapon like the previous mechs had. No, instead it's just 2 big claws, which again is fully leaning into the idea of this being a big dragon. That's on both sides, and you can just have Kai like slash at things when he's in the mech. It's a small mech that's very light and also has a big range of motion, so it's quite easy to pose this thing. There's nothing unexpected here, but it's great. I've not covered a Marvel mech in a moment, but again, the posability on these versus the posability on those is night and day. This is a huge step above them, which is quite funny when you consider they use similar parts and they're a similar price. The only like somewhat restricted point of movement when it comes to posing is if you move the legs back too far, they get in the way of the tail. But you can see, even with that, there's already a huge range of motion there. It's just, of course, the tail has to raise with them. So for a small mech especially, this is everything it needs to be. But I think that's about all I have to show you for the build of this set, at least for now. I'll talk about it a bit more at the end of this video. For now, let's take a look at the minifigures that come in this set. Coming to the minifigures, here are the first 2 in this set. We have Dragon Form Kai and we have Spectral Suit Sora. As I mentioned before, the dragon forms are the main gimmick of this wave, but this one's very strange because it's a suit that technically no other ninja has, at least in this wave. You get it for Jay in a 4+ set in March, because it's halfway between their dragon form and their non-dragon form. In short, most of the ninja have 2 different suits this wave, and both suits have the same exact torso print, leg print, and face print. The difference is the non-dragon forms, for example this Kai who comes in another set, has this armor piece, his hair piece, and a half mask. Meanwhile, the dragon forms swap that hair piece out for this exclusive new mask piece. They also use the armor piece, and then they have wings as well as a full tail out the back. But you can see this version of Kai is kind of a step between the 2. He does have the exclusive dragon form hood, but he does not come with a tail piece or wing pieces, and he also doesn't have the armor piece that all of them have either. That being said, I still think this is a pretty cool variant to get. I love that you still get the full mask piece here and not just the headband hair piece and the half mask. And as I showed you with the build is sort of meant to be a large version of dragon form. So I'm pretty sure that's why he comes with the dragon form mask, so that way it looks like he's in dragon form when he's in the mech. On the full Dragon Form Kai too, the wings are the ones from the Dragonians, and of course the armor piece, all of the original ninja have this wave in both forms. So if you have another armor piece from another set, and you have a Dragonian from another set, you could make a pretty complete Dragon Form Kai just using this minifigure in those parts. The only thing you'd be missing is the tail. So yeah, I like having multiple ways to get this guy, and I totally get why he didn't come with everything in this set, because he wouldn't fit in the mech that way, and the whole point is Kai is meant to easily slot into the mech. The fact that they didn't just give us the boring headband hairpiece and instead give us this new mask piece I think is awesome. Taking the mask piece off though, of course he's got his full Dragons Rising face print, and torso and leg design I guess I haven't actually commented on yet, but in short I like it. I think Kai's got a good color scheme with the regular red and dark red. It's definitely not unique for him, but it's something that always works. I think it's cool how the dragon scales are all sort of themed around the ninja's elements. You got this sort of fiery effect going on for each of them. And there's a look at the back torso print too. Sora is the Spectral Suit from summer 2025, so not new here. I really would have loved a new suit for her. However, I appreciate that at the very least it's not the season 1 version of Sora, and this is by far now the cheapest way to get this suit. So that's cool to see at the very least. She doesn't have like the full dragon armor she had that wave, instead she uses the Tournament of Sources armor, and that actually does look surprisingly good on this outfit. But yeah, I won't go too in depth here because I've covered this minifigure many times before on the channel, but in short I like it. Her color scheme is amazing. I like how this is a full proper ninja suit for her, as opposed to her original outfit, which was more of a racing suit, and that was cool, but this shows her like fully integrated as a real ninja now. This sort of like metallic starburst design that she has on her torso is great. There's a full look at her face print as well as her alternate face, where she has her symbol on the back with those like little cat ears. Having Sora be a more accessible character is awesome, even if this isn't a brand new suit, and even though it's not new, it's a very good looking one, so I think it was a nice choice. And then to end things off, the final minifigure in this set is the villain, the Earth Monster, and this minifigure is surprisingly common this wave, coming in 4 different sets, and one of those sets is another $10 set. That being said, he's a very well done minifigure, so he is quite nice to get here. And he actually has an exclusive weapon in this set. It is just made up of common parts, but in every other set his weapons are like 2 more of the attachments that are on his head, so that way he can have claws in his hands. But nope, in this set he does not get those. Instead he just gets this little hammer, which while it would have been nice to get like the full version of his weapons, I think it's kinda neat that he has something different. And with that removed, there's a better look at the torso print where he does have like this crumbly rock design with lava bursting from the center. I really love the metallic silver detailing on the rocks because it's somewhat subtle, but it really shows he's made up of like all different sorts of earth. He's got a new recolor for the crystallized armor piece now in transparent orange. And yeah, as I touched on, this new like head attachment piece is amazing. It makes him look like a beetle with the 2 different sized horns. And if I take everything off, there's a better look at the face print and torso print, very sinister smile with like the glowing orange on the inside, as well as the back torso print and the back head print, which again has more of that layered rocky design. He's a very good minifigure, even if he is a very common one. and I am happy to see him in a small set. I will say minifigure selection overall is definitely the weakest of the 3 battle packs we've gotten. The J1 in 2024 is probably the best because it came with 2 exclusive minifigures at the time and 4 total minifigures. The Master Lloyd minifigure did go on to come in one more set, but that set was $120, so just minifigure value alone felt really high in that set, because you got 2 army buildable characters, the exclusive J minifigure and the very rare Lloyd minifigure. Then the Zane one last year was a little bit weaker, but again, at the time, Drix was exclusive to that set, and so was Zane. And then Drix did later come in 2 more sets, but that remained the cheapest set that he ever came in. And Zane was released for the Ninjago City Workshops, but that set's huge, so for most people, that mech was the only way to get that one. So still stayed like a very strong minifigure selection, and Wildfire was the 3rd, which like it was nice to get her in a cheap set, but that was a very common figure. This time around though, while the minifigures are good, they're also a lot more common. This guy comes in 4 sets in just the first wave, Sora comes in 4 sets total across the 2 waves she's come in, and this version of Kai is technically a unique combination of parts, but you could find all those parts in other sets. So while all these sets are great values generally, I think comparing the 3, I would have liked to see something maybe a little bit different here. I think what would have been awesome is if instead of Sora, we got Frack in this set, because then that wouldn't be a new minifigure, it is an existing one, but so far he only comes in a very expensive set and a magazine, but not everybody has access to the magazine. It would give us one of the main ninja for cheap, just like we got with Wildfire last year, and it would also just put Frack in this wave, because he doesn't come in a single set for some reason. That's the same thing with Wildfire, but Wildfire came in last year's battle pack, so it wouldn't make sense for her to come in 2 years in a row with the same minifigure properly. But yeah, if they didn't have the budget for an entirely new minifigure, I really would have loved Frack over Sora. All that being said, yeah, this is a comparison of 3 really great minifigure selections and 3 really great small sets, so I don't want to act like this is bad, I'm just saying it's the weakest of the 3. But now, what are my thoughts on the set overall? Well, as I just said, it does have the weakest minifigure selection of the 3, but by far the strongest build. Like, I really love this one. And again, the value in these $10 sets is just kind of unmatched. You get a fun build and 3 great characters for a cheap price. If you're a fan of Ninjago, I highly recommend picking this one up. I guess the only reason not to is if you're planning on getting every other set anyway. Because of the fact there's no exclusives in this set, yeah, you can technically find everything else elsewhere. So if you don't care about the build and you're going to get the minifigures in other sets, sure, you don't need this one. But in my opinion, this is like the perfect LEGO package. You get fun minifigures, you get a fun build, and it's all an affordable price. I think it's really good. But of course, those are just my thoughts. Let me know what you guys think of this set in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like on it, subscribe to my channel if you're new, and let me know in the comments which January 2026 Ninjago set do you want to see an early review of next. But as for this video, I think that's about all I have to say, so thanks for watching everybody, I hope you all enjoyed, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!